As I ask everybody how they feel about working their way through this hurricane, everyone pretty much had the same phrase, and that is, we dodged a bullet. It could have been far worse. We were anticipating, and it was prognosticated, that there would be a storm surge that could very easily exceed 10 feet. I was told earlier that the storm surge was about 3 feet. When you consider the magnitude of the damage that could have occurred here, we did dodge a bullet. Now, that, of course, doesn't help those whose homes have been hit, those whose businesses have been hit. And for those people, we want them to know that we are already working on the process of helping them rebuild. I have declared a disaster in 62 counties, and the president has similarly declared a disaster in each of those counties. Hurricane Laura made landfall near Cameron, Louisiana, about 30 miles east of the Texas-Louisiana border, at 1 a.m. as a Category 4 storm hurricane. By the way, and I did have the opportunity to speak with Governor Edwards of Louisiana this morning, and he was his typical jovial self and was ready to be offering help to Texas. And so he's in good spirits, and I know the people of Louisiana are dealing with challenges themselves right now, and Texas and Texans stand ready to help our neighbors over in Louisiana. We have almost 8,500 people who were provided shelter throughout the state, with more than 3,000 hotel rooms sheltering evacuees. One thing that saved lives was evacuation orders that were made by local officials. And it was so important for local residents to heed those local warnings. And by people getting out of harm's way at an early time, that's one of the reasons why the loss of life was minimized, as well as the damages were minimized. I do want to emphasize, however, just as people listen to local officials in knowing when to evacuate, it's equally important to listen to local officials about when it is a good time to return. I have one report, unconfirmed, about a death in Sabine County. Know that is completely unconfirmed, but my point is this: that is the only report that I received at all about any potential loss of life. If we make it through a Category 4 hurricane that ripped through the coastline all the way up to the Texarkana area, and we have been able to have minimal or perhaps no loss of life, that is a miracle. It shows that prayers were answered, that so many people cared so much about their neighbor, and that preparation paid off. And so I applaud the local officials for being so effective as they prepared their regions for the oncoming hurricane. I applaud what they were able to do to stabilize their communities in ways that led to saving lives and saving property, and will lead to a very quick recovery.
It is not easy to make the decision to mandate an evacuation. State law in Texas puts that squarely on the responsibility of your mayor and your county judge. There's a lot that goes into that planning, that decision-making process. It is always the right decision to have a coordinated and orderly evacuation when faced with the circumstances they were faced with. My hat's off to you. We're here to support you. We had a great plan. We had a good response. We will have a swift recovery. And as Chairman Phelan said, we're not out of hurricane season yet. This is not the time to high-five and go home. This is the time to double down and get ready for the next one.